somebody on the side, or if I did, it was like every other month or something. You will make the necessary adjustments if you're committed to saving. So my first thing is always this: you have to make a decision that you really want to save.
That's true. Now I really want to save, right? And hardship has made me cut back on things. I don't do nails and all this other stuff. My hair is natural, so I could try to get away with like once a month, right? Or I try to do things in between where I just get a style, because the style is cheaper than actually getting it washed and all this. Or I'll wash it myself, and then So you try to do these things, but somehow, like you say, to lose that money, that's hard, man. Then you have to keep going back and dipping in, and because it's always something that seems to be so urgent. How do you resist those urges?
I tell you what, for me, I wanted to buy this car for such a long time. And so my dad will come to me and I'm like, I'm so tired of this car, Daddy. I'm so tired of this car. So my dad will look at me because he knew what I was against. He would simply say this: if this car costs you more to fix than a 1 month the bike, then maybe. But if not, you go ahead, you glue this. I would tell my mechanic, you glue this, you stitch this, you sew this, but this gotta run 1 more month. 1 more month. And then you just make it, but you have to purpose that you're not going to touch it. And so I just can't emphasize that enough. I know things happen, this happens and this, but that money is lost to you. And the dividends and the payoff in the long run, we're not talking about the short run, the long run always pay. And I'm a testimony to that.
Yeah. What do you have to say about that, Africa? You single, female, you don't got nobody so-called to lean on or whatever, depend on. You are your own cushion. So how do you make it through that? I know you say you cheat now. I know you didn't say that before.
Prayer. Prayer. No. I mean, all right. Same as she said, what I do, I'm very digital. What I do is every time I get payments from my clients, I leave a certain amount of money on my PayPal. That helps me save because it's in a, now they have a PayPal card, so it's kind of harder. But initially, it worked. I'd save. I'd leave 100 here, 200 here, every payment. So I had a sizable amount of money, and it still takes 3 days to transfer it to my account. So in the interim, I'm like, oh well, I really don't need to touch it because it's going to take too long. I need it right now. So we're in that era. Outside of that, I mean, like she said, the same way you thinking about buying a conch, once you spend that $10, that's done, right? You ain't gonna see that no more. Mr. Conch and put the $10 in the savings account. It's that simple. As much, and I know it sounds really easy, right?
Like, yeah, because I want to me. Sometimes you need that little thing.
As soon as you put that $10 up, you get a $50 bill. But yeah, it's just a matter of discipline, and I wish I could be as disciplined as I want to, but it's just a matter of discipline. You have to discipline yourself. You have to put something aside. That's just bottom line.
Yeah. So Terry, you represent an organization that is there to help people, force them to save, prepare for the future. Nobody likes to think about things like life insurance and annuities and pensions and all that sort of thing. But what's the benefit of having those types of plans?
The benefit of having those types of plans is vision, is having confidence, is believing that you will be. One of the things I like to instruct my children is never live in the moment. We are definitely a society that does nothing short of that. We live for the moment's pleasure. And for that reason, we don't save. We don't have a desire to save. And I would coin it as the fact that we don't trust ourselves.
What do you mean by that?
If you believe that tomorrow you will be alive, then you will save something for tomorrow.
Oh, that's a different way to think about it.
So the reality of it is, if I am of any kind of mindset that in 10 years I'm going to be alive, I must look toward my future self and enable that person to be as happy as I am right now.
Good Lord Almighty. Now you just put a whole different spin on it. My future self. How'd I go again? What would I want my future self to say about what the decisions that my now self is doing?
Yes, well, we all can identify with the concept of suicide, that there are many aspects of suicide. And in this forum that we are speaking to now, there is something called financial suicide, where you could be killing yourself from living in the future because you have not considered, you have not given thought, you have not paid any attention, you have not even realized, you have no vision that tomorrow I'm going to be around. When I see young men on the streets and persons in general, our society has shifted so much. When I see young students walking to school after 9, I try to figure where is the confidence? Where is the hope for tomorrow? And so therefore, if we don't consider that there will be a tomorrow, then it says that I've already cut myself short for this very moment. So hence, suicide.
That's really deep. I never thought about it like that. And I now feel very convicted.
Just don't kill yourself no more.
No, I can't kill myself. I want to live. And I want to live well because, you know, like Tanya, she said she want to retire at 50. When I think about that, that's like, I only got 5 years. 2 years, Africa.
I said 2 days.
2 days.
Well, you know, the reality is, if I may say also, you should never spend what you cannot save. It doesn't make no sense. And I agree with what Tanya was saying, and I have the same mentality that our father has. If you don't need it, you don't need it. And the fact is, we live in a culture of deception. We deceive our own selves. That if I buy this new car today, it's going to solve my transportation issues. There's no guarantee to that, to its wholeness. But the car that I have, you know, we associate things with respect to what we have heard, but we don't apply the principle. So, old folks would say, yeah, you don't miss the water until the well runs dry. They would say that you know what you have, but you don't know what you can get.
That's the truth. Hey, listen, you are tuned into The Conversation here on Guardian Radio 96.9. If you want to join the conversation, you can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. We'll also take your text messages. Text in at 422-GR96, 422-4796. Join the conversation. We're talking all things entrepreneurship. And right after the news break, we'll be back to continue. Woo, we made it through the first half hour. I have to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was about time. Me? I don't know where this.
Yeah, she knows straight.
No, I'm new media. My new media strategist.
Yeah.
Oh, this is okay. I produce content I produce media content on a digital platform. So new media is video, photography, audio, journalism, and then web design, graphic design, all housed on a digital platform.
Thank you for tuning in. The entire Queens College community has been left devastated by the death of Joy L. McIntosh, a 4th grade teacher. Today, administrators and teachers call for an end to the continued violence on the streets of our nation. They're remembering Joy L. as a dynamic young woman who touched many lives. The 39-year-old mother of 2 was found dead, upright in her car with gunshot wounds about the body. Her vehicle had crashed into a traffic light at Parkgate and Village Road. There have been several theories thrown out, including that the victim was a witness in a murder trial. However, police dismissed that as a rumor. For now, they believe it was a random act of violence. 5 people, including a father and son, were remanded to prison yesterday after they were charged as being members of an unlawful gang. It's the first time anyone has been arraigned under the anti-gang law since government amended the penal code back in 2014, making it illegal to affiliate with such organizations.
We are live in Nassau, Bahamas, and this is the
18-year-old Zai, 37-year-old Delanzo Cartwright Sr., 19-year-old Delanzo
We're
Cartwright Jr.,
currently
all
on.
pleaded not guilty to the charge. It is alleged they were members of a gang between June 2012 and November 6, 2015.
So we are live in Nassau, Bahamas, and as you can see, we are on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. I'm here with Simmone, Bowe, the ambassador of the Women's Entrepreneur Initiative, hosted by the United Nations. On November 19th, 2015, she will be hosting an event at the Maria at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can visit allhumanityfirst.com to watch the live stream. Once again, I am Africa, and we are online in Nassau, Bahamas on Guardian Radio.
We can talk about that stuff right after this thing. We don't like to talk, and it is web presence and marketing and
And even financial literacy.
yeah.
That's a major thing.
So you want to do that first, and then we go into the
Okay.
since we finished just talking about savings and stuff.
I'm gonna talk about money. I tell you, I'm live online. I'm live. My people already know. I'm cheap, but
You use your money wisely.
yes. And if I don't need it, I don't get it. I don't want to get in debt. You know, the catch-22 is you have to have credit in order to survive in America. You know, I don't know how it is here, but in order to survive in America, you have to have credit.
Yeah.
Another part of it is, child, I don't need nobody calling my house. When I buy my things, that's the last time I need to deal with that.
Yeah.
When I went to buy my car, I bought my car cash, all of it one time.
Yeah.
I don't want
I
nobody
got
calling me
mine
talking
cash.
about,
Yeah.
hey,
That
we
was
need
a
nine.
sacrifice.
No, I
One
want
less
all of
thing
it
to worry
one time.
about.
And they say, oh, well, you know, I want it all one time. I'm mad now. I have an education. I can't freaking pay for it.
Exactly, that's another thing.
They get you in debt, and you know, or you keep working. It don't matter if you work for yourself or you work for someone else. It's always, and the thing about working for someone else, they always feel like they have you in the chokehold because you need them so much.
Exactly.
And
To
the
pay these
reason-
bills that you in debt with.
And the reason, and the reason why I got into this whole thing was because my boss, one day I went in the office. I worked really hard. I'm working my behind off. My boss said, you know, you need this to take care of them kids. I'm like, wait, hold on.
You just said
I feel like you just threatened me.
part of the blue.
No, because something happened and the lady was in the wrong.
Mhm.
But I'm getting chastised because it's favoritism.
Well,
So I'm like, I work third shift. My third shift often runs in the first shift because first shift don't come in on time.
mhm.
I manage an entire store, and I'm here by myself in the nighttime where all of the crackheads are.
Mhm.
But you're telling me that I'm in the wrong end, that I need this. I don't need this. This is headaches. I'm very talented, and I was already doing something, which I was putting half of my energy into my business.
Okay.
And I wasn't looking at it as a business. I was looking at something that I wanted to do and I knew I could have done and I knew I did good or well. And I was like, I'm making money doing my side job. I'm making the same amount of money doing my side job as I'm doing working here. And I'm putting less energy into it. So if I put more energy into that and leave you people,
Mhm.
and I mean, yeah, you're not gonna put me in a corner talking about I need you. You know, people say, oh, you just up and left. I'm like, no, because no. It's just like, I don't know, it's just like being a slave. I don't need to be a slave. You beating me,
Yeah, that's for sure.
and then I run away, you can tell me.
Cut your legs off.
Come here, nigga.
Hey, cut your legs off. Stay here.
It's the same way, like you need to be here, you need a roof over your head, you need these rags that we giving you.
We
Why?
can talk about all of that.
You need your muscle.
Mm-hmm.
I could go live in the bush, build one hut, make make clothes out of the tree leaves, and live way better than I live in and getting beaten every time I decide to open my mouth. And that it goes back to the whole concept of freedom, but freedom is what you
define it to be.
exactly. But some people feel good, they feel secure in a situation like that, that's the house nigga mentality. Oh, man's gonna take care of me. I'm gonna have some food. I'm gonna have lemonade. They don't got lemonade out there. We're gonna be drinking salt water. Well, salt water is more healthier. The fish is more healthier. And the trees, we got trees out there. Grow your own food. So what? We catching fish instead of getting tuna fish from the store.
But see, that's it. We don't want to deal with that hardship or that delayed gratification.
Let me tell you, I've read several places and I've heard several people say it, that when you become a small business owner or entrepreneur, you live like how people wouldn't for a few years, so you can live like how people couldn't. So you have to sacrifice.
Yeah.
But that sacrifice pays off. I am 100% more healthy. I'm 100% healthier than I was when I was working in corporate America, working for the various organizations. All these stressful timelines. And now, don't get it wrong. Like, we still have stressful timelines. You need to put on your headphones.
And we are back. You are tuned into the conversation with Shanique Miller. I am Simmone Bowe, filling in for the lovely lady. And we are talking all things entrepreneurship. So many people want to make that leap, want to live like the big dogs do, the rich folk do. And we got to figure out, what is it, first of all, that we want? We talked about that before the break. What is the vision? Is there a market for what it is we want to do? Are we prepared for what we have to do to make this business work? And we're going to talk more about preparation and financial literacy. We're going to invite you to call in as well. Chime in if you have a question for one of our panelists. We have Terry Strapp, who is a financial planner. We have Africa Allah, new media specialist and professional. And we have Tanya Rame, who is also a financial planner and entrepreneurship incubator manager. Plus, she is a teacher. She teaches and does training in QuickBooks and all those sort of things. And these are the practical tools that you need if you're going to talk about getting into business. We don't want to run these mom and pop shops in the way that we have in the past. Not if we're going to compete globally. We have to put the systems in place. We have to get in tune with what is trending, what's happening in the world, so that we can be competitive. We're always talking about we're ready, but we're not really ready. We're not really ready. We're not prepared. We don't have the right image. We don't have the right materials. We don't have our products. They're probably not packaged properly. We aren't saving the way we ought to. We're not managing money. There's so many things that go into being an entrepreneur. So we have 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and our text line 422-4796, 422-4796. That is 422-GR96. So Tanya, tell us a little bit more about financial literacy. What does that actually mean?
Okay. One of the things about financial literacy, it's like I tell persons that it's not a matter of just starting a business and making money. You need to understand the big picture. You need to understand some assumptions that are involved with your business. For instance, the market growth. What is the potential for your business in the market that exists? So you have to be able to identify the market, know the potential growth. Will training and development grow in the Bahamas by 10%, 2%, 3%? So you'll be able to go ahead with that assumption to make another assumption. The market penetration, what rate.
So how do you do that? I mean, that sounds like really complicated.
Let's just break it down real simple. Even if you look around, let's just talk about chicken and fries. I think everybody can agree that we might have more than enough. Maybe. Okay. Possibly. Okay, possibly. We'll just say chicken and fry, the fried version of chicken and fry. Okay, so then What are we going to do? So let's just look at our market. So you can't make a business assumption in the dark just by a prayer and a whim and an offering. Like I
But
tell
that's how a
people,
lot of people
do
do
it.
it. Say, well, you know,
Mhm.
God gave me this vision, so that means, you know, it
So-
should work.
Right. So we're going to look to see, look, in the radius that you're planning on starting your business, how far is the next chicken and fry business, you know, fast food chain? How are they popular? How are they marketing? What are they doing that you can either do different? Because if you're going to enter that market, you need to understand then who are your competitors in the market. For instance, they have definitely, like we said, and then there are persons who are not even doing the fried food anymore because of diabetes, whatever. So what's the other? How else then can you enter into the market? So you look at the market growth really, and it's just an honest answer that, look, this is how it is in the Bahamas. And remember, good people, that you can't make that assumption based a lot of times on what you see in the US or another country. So we're talking here. So the likelihood in the market that you're going into, if you start something, well, let's be honest, let's give you 6 months and then perhaps, or 3 months, somebody else will be doing the exact same thing. And you selling your stuff for $5, they going down to $4.98 to try to capture your same thing. Same thing, calling the product the same thing.
Now, you're talking about developing a product in the marketplace, but also look at market growth. When you talk about market growth, is this product that you're developing, is it viable across platforms? Is it only viable within your market or within your region? Can you sell that outside of your region? Because realistically, you only have 300,000 people to sell to.
Exactly.
I mean, and then
that's stretching it.
And then you have all of this competition. So, you know, she's talking about chicken bag place. The island is 21/7. And we're talking about chicken bag place, and we're talking about all 700 islands, and you have 15 that is inhibited. You have to talk about distribution. You have to talk about product. You have to talk about, what is it? There has to be compliance because the product has to taste the same in all locations.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you're talking about a brick and mortar business, how viable is that to sustain? And can you handle volume? A lot of people start companies, like there are a whole bunch of cake people. Like, let me talk about cake, okay? Because I have a problem. I've been trying to find this cake. Okay?
I remember that.
and I see all these pretty cakes all over social media, and I'm like, yeah. And then you go and get it, and it's dry. It look pretty, but it's dry because why? You can't handle the volume.
Yeah.
So now you got a whole bunch of people ordering, and now you're reducing the quality of your product because you're trying to keep up with volume. So you need to be able to sustain the quality of your product while being able to expand with growth and development. And so as your product, and that's why a lot of small businesses become solopreneurs. They end up just being solopreneurs because they cannot grow. Yeah. And people hate to put their product or brand in hands of someone else to help them expand.
And you know what frustrates me is that people, when they are growing, you know, their name is out there, they get in business, and so you send more business their way, and then they can't handle it. Exactly. And then you end up getting complaints because either they can't meet that need, they don't deliver, the quality, like you're saying, is less than, and so it's embarrassing now. Or you didn't do the market research, and so you decide you want to get into this market, but you don't have enough product, you don't have enough raw material, or you didn't count the cost of having to bring that raw material in, because that's a major part of the challenge of doing business here in the Bahamas is import. I mean, shipping costs and customs duties, and now that, right? I mean, so if you don't even factor that in, like for instance, if you decide I'm going into the smoothie business, no offense, Chrissy, right? Fruit smoothies, not the green smoothie, fruit smoothie, just in case you listen, right? So if my favorite is like mango. Mango is seasonal, first of all, right? Then there's not enough mangoes for me to actually do this here locally. So then that's going to be, where am I going to get these mangoes from? Then maybe I say, well, maybe I'll use mango puree or mango concentrate. And then it changes
the product.
Exactly.
Because when I first went and got this smoothie from you, I got this real mango fresh off
It
the
was
tree out the
fresh.
backyard.
Yes.
And now you giving
Now
me
it tastes
mango
like-
puree.
Yeah.
I'm like,
The
what is
same,
this?
tastes the same. And then I going down to, they going down to Tanya down the road. You understand? 'Cause she's still making them fresh. Now she's still on the side of the road. She's still on in the little hut, right? She ain't packaging all of that, but it's the taste is what I'm after.
And that's important because I just want to emphasize too, even as you grow your business, having that financial literacy is important because you want to understand how your revenue streams for your business. Some people, I find that they just jump in and expand too quickly. Again, there as you expand, there are some things that you really need to follow. Again, like Africa had said, quality is important. And so you want to make sure that you have that the quality of your product and you have that down pat. But another thing that I really want to emphasize is that it's okay to ask someone for help. I think we need, as small entrepreneurs, we need to rely on and to pull on the expertise of others. You're the marketing guru. I'm going to go there and find out what it is to get my business, not necessarily down the street. And we need to start thinking global.
Yes,
Exactly.
That was what I was hitting on. Like, you know, we constantly talk about entrepreneurship and we talk about it as if it only exists in this bubble inside wherever you are within the four corners of your block or your home or whatever. But the way technology has allowed us to be able to touch everybody in a click or within, you know, it's just a matter of minutes, whether it's video, audio, or some type of way that they can see and hear and be a part of that product. We have to now start thinking about ways that we can package and develop our products and our brands so that we can sell these products outside of our region. Because again, like I said, you know, you're looking at 300,000 people, and the same 300,000 people that you're vying for, every other small business, an entrepreneur is vying for the same group of people.
So how do we do that when we're still struggling? You know, you're talking about PayPal and all this other stuff. When we're still struggling with e-commerce here in the Bahamas, I mean, does our system work with those systems? How do we get compatible? Like, for instance, being able to have a shop online feature on our website where someone could just point, click, buy, point, click, donate. You know, how do we overcome these things?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, because I'm sure you have more information on that, seeing that you're a financial man.
Well, I might be a financial man, but I would like to just drop back a little bit to what was said earlier, because if we just be real, if I could use that expression, the fact is not everybody is out to be international. And for that reason, it brings a sense of harmony. It brings a sense of continuity to whatever a person would like to introduce to the market. Because if I know for sure, grandma down the road, she ain't getting no computer. She ain't wiping no internet.
She ain't got on Facebook.
She ain't got no Facebook.
But that
As a matter
speaks
of
to
fact.
authenticity as well.
Yeah.
So it depends on what your product is.
Not necessarily, because the same chicken in the bag that KFC sell, grandma can want that too. But the fact is, grandma is not going to go beyond what she was originally introduced to. There are some people whose minds will not shift, no matter how much we educate them. It's not so much that it is to the negative of the whole economy. It's just that person is only limited to that stem. That's why it is good to have somebody who would only want to lay on the side of the road and sell peanuts.
But then we're going back to the whole concept of success matrix and what you value as success. So that then speaks again to volume and understanding what your capabilities are. Do you want to be a solopreneur? Do you want to be an entrepreneur where you want to manage a company with multiple staff? Or do you want to just be able to sustain your household, sustain your family, sustain whatever it is that you have? So that again, it speaks to your goal, your objectives, your vision, your mission.
Yeah.
You know, So we're talking about different facets of it. I'm not saying that you're incorrect, because yes, I like the food that they cook in the back room, and I like to see an old person cooking my food because I know for sure it's gonna taste good.
That's the truth.
That brings back to just understanding the business structure. So not all of us will have the same business structure. Nonetheless, whatever structure you have, you need to make sure that you confront competition no matter what.
Yes.
So it's understanding your business structure, and like we say, just stay in your lane. If that's where you want no more right here, that's fine. But if you want to go global, the opportunity and the market is right, I believe, for us to step in to a new phase in the way we do business in the country.
Yeah, the reality of it is, no matter which way we turn, whether we want to be just local or global, the principle still applies. I still have to be able to have my stock on that. I still have to have a good cook. I still have to be able to appease the people that I'm hoping to attract. I still need to know how to manage my money. I still need to ensure that when I say open 9 o'clock, I am there at 9 o'clock. And so these principles applies across the board. And that's the beauty of the wholeness of humanity. No matter where we stand, whether we are the hierarchy, or whether we are the mom and pop store, the same principle applies to Solomon's. And so this whole concept of being financial illiterate or literate, it just falls into the line of understanding who I am, which goes into the original point of being a visionaire and having trust in yourself. Because even if I am on the side of the road, I must still have confidence to know that somebody's going to pull on the side and therefore purchase my stuff. Even though I may not have the structure, even though I may not have all the brands and all the designs, I may never be able to sponsor something on the radio, but I still have to have trust to know that, hey, if I put out myself out here today, someone is going to put some money in my pocket because they're going to be attracted to what I'm presenting to them. And those who invest in marketing as far as ads are concerned, they do that for the reason of drawing people's attention. They try to appease on people's desire, and because that's all marketing really is. I market myself on the side of the street. No offense, Africa.
She cringing over there.
But the truth of the matter is, we all market ourselves in some. Mama, because she has been nice in the environment that she lives, people are going to support her.
Being nice is customer service. Let's take these back to things
customer oriented.
Let's take these back to things that relate to business, because we're talking about mama, right?
Yes.
But mama understands business regardless of what. I come from a family that grew up in the store market, right? I used to come here every summer, and I would hang out in the store market with my cousins and them. And they called everybody sweetheart. They said darling. They made people feel welcome. So even if the lady down the street had the same straw bag or had something similar, and hers was $1 more, they would come back to her because she gave them an experience. And business is about the experience, because you can go to Staples or you can go to Office Depot. Who gives you that experience that you're looking for is who you're going to shop with, regardless of what the price is. And that's really what it is. Like we're talking about all these other things that go into it, but at the end of the day, my customer experience is what's going to make me come back to you.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because even though like you're talking about mama, what if mama want to go to the bank or mama want to make some investment or something? Isn't it important to still keep proper records? Because you're talking about, well, she may not have a POS system or something like that, or a computer, and she may not be marketing out there and all of that. But then there's still some principles that she needs to have in place,
Definitely. She needs to understand her revenue flow, where she's making money. She needs to understand the cost of doing business. And as we all can attest as small business owners, doing business in this country can be very expensive. So you need to understand the cost. There's the small mom and pop store might not necessarily have the sophisticated financial reporting aspect, but what they do know is that they've been in business for a while and they can identify the cost it takes to do business in the country. And so that's important. I'm really
Yeah, I mean, so what about, okay, so mama may not be doing QuickBooks. What are some things that we could do to keep proper records?
You know, as simple as write down as much as you can. And simple as whenever you make a sale, instead of just as an entrepreneur, just taking that money and just spending that, you want to really redirect that to the bank. All right, so you can keep proper records. I mean, that's what Mama and Papa usually did. They would go to the bank with everything that the sales for the day. They will take that to the bank. Another thing is you can shop around to find the best cost-effective way to own business. I mean, and you, as simple as buying chicken, you might find company or store A will be the better store rather than store B. And then
buying in bulk rather than go into a retail store to buy your supply, your inventory, and you still have to do markup on what they've already marked up on.
So trying to find ways to cut costs for the business. And even
that won't jeopardize your product.
Your quality.
And your quality, because we understand that the value proposition of your business is key. Your branding is key. There are certain things that you don't need to cut costs on.
You should.
Okay, so it's a difference between me going to an expensive 5-star restaurant getting chicken and coming to your restaurant getting the same chicken. All right, it's a value proposition that you offer to your customers, and you simply have to know your customers. You have to know what they want. Don't just assume. It's a good thing to ask them, what do you want?
So you could test that out by whatever the product is. It's still on your shelf with dust on it, telling you that they don't want that.
That's it.
Yes, that is the way that you do A/B testing in a non-digital era. But in a digital era, we have the opportunity.
Bring us forward to the 21st century, Africa.
Y'all talking about being on the side of the road. Look, I don't know about being on the side of the road.
Not necessarily so. Because if we be honest, right? Those who are in the corporate office, when they are about to sell a product, they still test. We don't do it on the front scene. We don't see it on the front scene, rather, because when we watch the commercials about these car companies, we see dummies behind the seat. And so, and in other aspects, they have guinea pigs, so to speak, people who would test the cheese doodle and see how much it is right. Yeah, they have the test market. And so the point is, the principle is still the same.
It doesn't matter what size your business is.
Yes.
You have to do a test market.
Yes.
Like I know I have family members that have small businesses that mom and pops, as you guys call it, and they only buy a certain amount of product, and based on how fast that product moves, they decide if they're going to purchase more of that product. If that product did well during a certain period, they only bring in that product during that period. So it's always a different type of A/B testing. And we assume that it's this big thing that you do, but it's, I mean, not for nothing, business is like running a household. It's common sense.
Well, even to piggyback on that, in every business, we must incorporate the fact that we will suffer loss. And so we must understand that we're not going to sell everything. And even if we sell everything in store, at some point we're going to lose a customer. And so that is a factor of reality that we have to consider, even when we are going to start a business, that I'm not going to win every customer's heart.
All right, we have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome to the conversation. I'm wonderfully well. How are you?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, help us with that. So how do you maintain those accounts though when you open up accounts over there, and how do you
Move it over to the account.
move it? How you can move it from the Bahamian account to
No,
the
sweetie, if you're taking, I'm sorry, let the caller answer.
yes,
that
caller.
question.
How do we maintain an account abroad? Great.
Thank you so much for that 5 cents, because I've been trying to push them into this 5 cents era. So
You have her glowing right now. Thank you so much, caller, for contributing to the conversation today.
yes, as he stated, the easiest way is, okay, when you open up this account, again, you're taking payments through digital platform. Your bank account is attached to that digital platform. So what you do to maintain your bank account is, when you receive that money, you withdraw some of that money onto your bank account or into your bank account, and then you can redirect funds to whatever other bank accounts you have. So you should be able to actually attach a local bank account, whether it be Scotia or RBC, because I know they have outlets inside the U.S. When I first moved to Atlanta, I had an RBC account, and I was banking between here and there using my RBC account. So I was able to attach it and put money in both of my accounts.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so you need to find out what banks have branches inside the U.S., because you don't necessarily have to open a Bank of America account, but with digital platforms, you can move your information. And the other part of it is, digital platforms allow for you to keep great records.
Mm-hmm.
I don't take cash unless I create an invoice. And as long as I create an invoice on that digital platform, it helps me do my taxes. No, I can't say it, but but of late, because they've implemented new strategies, constantly. Digital media is perfecting itself. It used to be every 3 months you see a change. Now it's every 3 weeks you see a minor change. It's a minor change, but that minor change changes the effectiveness of the way you interact, communicate, and get your products out. So they've just recently established a way for you to do taxes by using your PayPal. So no longer do I have to download all this stuff and take it to the tax man. I can actually prep my taxes, and I'm talking, of course, US, but I can actually prep my taxes inside there. They also have, I noticed a couple days ago when I was dealing with a Bahamian client, that they also have VAT in there.
Absolutely.
Value-added taxes, because a lot of international place added tax. So they now have that ability. And that came about recently, I think within the last 6 months.
So we have e-government now. We can say that a lot of services are now provided online, including processing your VAT, actually applying for your business license online now. So
Surprisingly.
I know, right?
But it's working, and that's it. And I mentioned something about, just having your financial records. We want to go real quick back there. There are so many softwares that will assist even with you getting your financial records in one location. QuickBooks really is, again, the world's #1 accounting software for small and medium-sized businesses, just capturing the information, because it is with that information that you're going to make valuable decisions and manage the expenses and manage the overall performance of your company. For instance, if you know what you're making and you know what you're spending, then you have a picture. Again, you can make a constructive and a very sound decision when it's time to increase your prices. We're talking to a client the other day, and it's like, maybe it's time for you to increase your prices. Here it is all around you. You have prices increasing, but you want to stay stuck on this price. Hello, you're going under.
Exactly.
You understand? And so that's one of the importance, again, of financial literacy in the whole scope of how you do business. Another thing, one of the most powerful things, too, that I think about financial, having just an understanding of how your company make money is, because sometimes we're a little bit more enthusiastic and optimistic about, and not really identifying the true picture and the big picture of what it is. You're digging a hole, and the hole is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and deeper, and you're thinking, look, but at least I have a steady cash flow. Really? There are going to be ditches and slumps in your business. Can you realistically sustain the way how you're operating and doing business? I think, again, that's another opportunity of why financial literacy is important.
You raised something that's key right there, because a part of entrepreneurship and the risk of doing business is knowing your business to the point where, am I digging a hole? This was great. I'm still passionate about it because I made this mistake. Because you're so passionate about it and you get so attached to it, you don't want to let it go. And you maybe need to tweak it. You maybe need to do some things differently. Sometimes you have to end it.
Yes.
When do you know what to do in those times? When do you know when this is it? And I really shouldn't be throwing, as they say, good money after bad. That this hole is too deep for me to crawl out right now, and maybe I need to stop this operation, regroup, revisit the whole vision and the market and all the other things. Assess why is this going wrong for me?
Repurpose your product and your brand so that it fits within the solution that you're looking for.
And in plain English, Miss Digital. You always talk like a computer.
Let the human talk about
Yeah. Let the human say. Translate that, please.
You began your business with a vision on paper. Sometimes when you need to let the numbers speak for themselves. Because the numbers really tell a story. It tells a history.
Yeah, I heard an accountant say that your numbers is the language of business.
It really is. So just let the numbers tell. If you look, you have not made money in 6 months, and you still trying to keep 6 of them your employees because they're your cousins and you don't want to let them go right now. Let them go.
Go on.
If you still trying to underprice your competitor up to the street, and things ain't working out, it's time for you to increase the price or close shop. So that let the numbers speak for itself, and really it really tells the story, and it lets you know if you're gonna be solvent here in the next month or 2. And if you're not, either you're gonna adjust, like Africa was saying, or you're just gonna have to seriously close, because at the end of the day, if those bills aren't paid, BEC will be turned off. But telco will take away turn off the phones, and you will have out of business sale quicker than you started.
And is there any shame in that? Because sometimes that's the reason why we hang on too, not just because we're attached to what is and we don't want to change. We don't want to repurpose the product, right? But it may be because we just shame. How do we deal with that, Terry?
Well, first of all, closure doesn't necessarily mean loss of vision. Closure could just be a temporary moment to revisit who you are. What am I doing? Why do I still exist? What has changed since I initially saw what I hoped to accomplish? And once we put all these factors in place, then we are able to come back again, as Africa just spoke to. Because if we don't examine the reality of our present, we could never move forward and live in our tomorrows. And so therefore, it is important for us to just be real. Well, if you're starting a business, I've been in businesses practically all my life. I sell just about everything besides my soul.
And your body, I hope. Uh-oh. Well, moving right along.
And drugs.
Okay. Top 3, all right.
Yes. but the reality is we just have to take stock. Closing, first and foremost, in a person's mind doesn't necessarily mean that's it for my business. Because if I still have the vision, it means that I'm still alive. And for the fact that I'm still alive, it means that there's hope. In my hope, in my desire, sometimes the energy that is within me is going to attract someone to me. And because of that attraction, because of that alignment, I can draw someone to me that is necessary to enable my vision to actually move forward. And sometimes what needs to happen is, as one generation, as the mom and pop, as we were speaking to earlier, how mom and pop actually did it. The younger generation, or the now generation, is not so much that they close the business, but they put a new twist on it so that the vision of mom and pop continues. And so therefore there has to be a transition, and transition mostly, and in normal cases, comes with a connection. And we have to find that right connection in order for us to actually move forward, to ensure that the vision does not die. Just because the vision stops doesn't mean that it is dead.
I totally agree with that. And I think it's important that as entrepreneurs that we have mentors and coaches and other entrepreneurs that we can use to bounce things off. Have professionals in your life who can give you advice in these different areas to help you regroup, to re-strategize, and be willing to listen and to make the necessary changes. And I think we have to go to a break. And just after that break, I want us to talk a little bit more about what Africa does in new media and how we can make this transition. And I want to talk a little bit about legacy, entrepreneurial legacy, right after the break. And listen, our phone lines are open, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, and our text line is open, 422-GR96, 422-4796. And we have a text message in for you, Tanya. Yes, it says, I am so glad to hear your voice. I'm proud of you, Bishop C.L. James, your youth pastor 100 years ago. We'll be right back after the break. You tune into the conversation.
What time is the show over?
6 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, we okay.
Okay, we doing all right. We doing all right.
You guys are entertaining.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad we actually getting the conversation going.
Yes.
But we need to talk about the obstacles of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, that's really, you know.
Especially in this local market.
I really had no idea I was an entrepreneur until one day somebody said, what's your business? I said, oh, I just maybe do what I do for myself, other people.
What do you do? So, media.
I'm a new media producer. So I produce my initial the company is actually Distinctive Impression Multimedia Group. We produce multimedia pieces. Mm-hmm. My outlet is DI Radiocast New Media Network. That's where we put all of the products that we produce for our clients on our website. In addition to that, I worked in journalism, advertisement, and radio. So like those are all parts of me. Like I'm good at. No, I should say a little more than good. I'm great at.
You're an expert.
I would say more than that. But for the most part, like I've been getting other people rich doing stuff like that, taking ideas, but I was working for them, so they didn't really take ideas. You know what I mean? So my thing was like, well, if I could do it for them, I could do it for myself. Mm-hmm. And I started out working on my network because I woke up one day and I was like, when was I most happiest in my life? Like I loved my job. Don't get me wrong. I worked at an advertising company. I loved my job, but it was like I just felt like it was something missing, and I was like, I was happiest when I was on radio. So I produced a show and I put it on a podcast. And this was 10 years ago, before people even understood what podcasting was. And I put it on a podcast and sent out my thing.
All right. Thank you, Kermit. We are back on the conversation. We want to just give a shout out to our sponsors for today's show. Marco's Pizza, One Source at BBSL, Easy Car, Chances Games, and we are here talking all things entrepreneurship. Of course, we are recognizing Women's Entrepreneurship Day on November 19th, Thursday, November 19th, and we have a great event that is coming up next week, Thursday at Malia, 5:30 p.m. You're going to hear from some of the folks who are here in studio today talking about entrepreneurship and how you need to get started, what you need to do to grow your business, what you need to do to sustain yourself as an entrepreneur, and, you know, just to network and collaborate and connect with like-minded people. I think that's so important. And oftentimes being an entrepreneur, and I'm sure all of you can attest to this, it can be a very lonely road, because sometimes, you know, you just plugging along, trying to keep your head above water, trying to handle everything. You know, you the president, the CEO, the VP of marketing, the head of HR, and you're doing all of these things. And sometimes you just struggle with overwhelm. I know I'm talking about my own self, because just today I thought I was going to lose my mind. And why Africa's eyes looking up in the ceiling, I don't know, you know, but this is some of the things that we have to deal with. So let's talk about some of the challenges of entrepreneurship. Who wants to jump in on that first?
Well, one of the challenges that I've come across in regards to dealing with entrepreneurs and small businesses is that a lot of people micromanage. You know, they hire people to support their entities, but they feel like they can't let go.
Oh, Lord.
And the thing is, you put professionals, and everybody says this, all of the successful people tell you, you know, you can't do it alone. No man is an island. You put people around you that can organize those ideas for you. So you have to put professionals around you that can help you build your company. But at the same time, you still have to manage that vision, that mission, etc. But you have to trust that the people that you put in place are going to represent your company. They have the same brand value. They have the same values as you have, and they are going to treat your product or your brand as you would treat it. The other part of it is you don't have to know everything, but understand what it is that they do so that you can have a conversation and you can give realistic directions. Because I get people that give me direction, I'm like, really?
They're making no type sense.
So we going to Pluto to get this? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And you're so right, because especially in what I've found in my experiences with HR, and I know Tanya could chip in on this, especially with family-owned businesses and letting go, and the challenges that represent from a human resource standpoint. Because if you have all your family members in management, sometimes the family member is not competent, and so they're causing a problem for the employee on the job who's trying to do the job. Maybe they want upward mobility, but they can't move anywhere because these people are in place and they don't even know what they're doing. Or how challenging is it that you're complaining, and you're complaining about the boss's son or the boss's daughter or the boss's sister or brother or something like that.
Right.
And I think we, as small business owners, yes, we want to protect the vision. And so we put people in place that we feel we can trust. But at the end of the day, what is the long-term effect that that's going to have on your business and on your employees? Because if you don't have proper structure and systems in place and policies in place that everybody has to abide by, you see, because you can't have your daughter come in and figuring, you know, you have a policy in place for your cashiers, for instance, but then your daughter or your son could just come in the drawer and say, well, I need $100, give me the $100. What is that employee supposed to say? How is the employee supposed to keep track of that money that your family member just took out of the register?
That's it. And that's that the consistency exists. So I think even with family-owned organizations, it's important that you understand that, look, we might be family, but when we're in here, we're going to remain consistent, and this is how we're going to operate. Unless you're going to have a chaotic environment, and that's something that you don't want, and you can't even, your business cannot thrive in that environment. Another thing too about really all of the struggles that you'll encounter is really just believing in yourself. I think a lot of persons, you second guess yourself, and especially in the area of being rejected. from a sales. You think, well, am I competent? Can I do this? Or, you know, but you have to take a stand and really just talk to yourself. I can do this. And I can do this, yes, through Christ, who strengthens me. And it's a leap of faith. And every day you have to talk to you, because you're with you 24/7. And you have to make that decision that I am going to do this business and I'm going to thrive in this business. And it is my portion to succeed and do extremely well in this business. You will know when you talk about QuickBooks, who Tanya Ramin is in this environment. So you have to make that decision, and that's what you're going after, and just believe in yourself and really manage any type of rejections that you'll get, and you will get many rejections and disappointments. People will definitely disappoint you, but also to push forward and to move forward in that. Another thing is, you know, you might start on one course. You have to be prepared to, again, as we spoke about, just really analyzing this. Is this the way to go? Because you started out thinking, well, I should just do one thing. You might find like you have to adjust, tweak, and make decisions again. Sit down, really a constructive maybe you need somebody just to tell you, look, hey, this is not working, let's try this. And be prepared to say, okay, I'm going to take the bullet and we're going to adjust the vision here.
Absolutely.
Now,
The purpose over personality.
Hey, you're so deep, Terry. You deep now.
Purpose over personality.
Wait, I gotta write some of these
A
things
little bit
down.
about purpose over
I
personality.
like that.
Me too.
Well, with respect to the family, you understand that you started the business with a purpose in mind. And so no matter what personality, and sometimes we could be that personality that flows against the purpose.
My goodness, say that again.
Sometimes we could be that personality that flows against the purpose.
So does that mean, as a visionary, if I am not the right person for this particular thing, I need to step aside out of my vision?
Yes. Sometimes you're not able or capable to take your vision to the level that it needs to be. That's why they have people that are CEOs of companies or presidents of companies, but they have people running, they're CEOs and have presidents running their organization. You still own the vision, you have the intellectual property, but you've put people in place to manage it. Now I'm sure we haven't gotten to that point yet, and we're talking about entrepreneurship from a very basic level, but you have to understand, and we were talking about legacy.
Yes.
And when we talk about legacy, you know, put people in positions to grow your business. When you die, and people say I'm so morbid, but I always think about, look, I'm trying to be immortalized. I don't care what nobody say. I'm ego. I'm vain. Okay, I want to be immortalized. When I die, people will know who Africa Allah was. So my company won't live forever. And that's because we're going to put people in position to grow the company as time progresses. So, you know, that's the reason why I'm against putting your name on the door, because once you're gone, people now don't want to associate with the product because you're not there, you know. And that's a lot of the times when we deal with companies that are carried by names of people, you realize people stop going once they find out that the proprietor is no longer there.
Yes, purpose over personality. Going back to Terry's point, I'm going to let you finish that point. And I think in honor of the late Dr. Miles Monroe, I think everybody now has recognized, you know, his position on that, and he lived by that. And long after his passing, his vision is still alive because he put things in place for succession. And that's the thing that we struggle with here, is that because we don't want to let go.
And it's not just here. It's not just here.
Yeah.
It's in this diaspora.
It's probably ego-driven. I don't know. It's our race. I don't know what it is. It's that, you know, we don't want to let go to the point where we have other people who can, and we can still be alive. We may not even die, but it's just our time to move on. Talk about that some more, Terry.
Well, if you're afraid to let go, then it speaks to two things from my perspective. It wasn't your vision, one, and you don't know what you have. You don't know what you have in the essence and within the context that you don't know who you are. Because if I understand that my purpose is to produce books, and I understand that I may not be a writer, but by my purpose, by my vision, my very desire would attract me or would cause someone to be drawn to me who's able to write. Now that person who has that ability to write must have my vision. Otherwise, even though we might be together, there is really no connection. And that is where the problem happens in businesses. And for that reason why the son, the daughter, would come into the cash drawer and take away the money because they are not connected to me as far as the vision is concerned. But if it happens, if I have an employee or employer that I choose to be, I guess, boss over my vision, then even if I am not there, because I implemented it, I am there. And so the fact is, you can never be absent from something that you produce. Even if you look at it from a natural perspective, no matter how far, how much, or how long a parent would have died, if they have a child, that child represents something that that parent actually presented in life. And so from that perspective, we must consider the whole purpose behind anything and realize that if my personality does not coincide with the purpose, then I need to lose the personality.
Or I guess step aside, and let someone who is equipped to do it. And that brings me to another point. This is one of my peeves or challenges that I see around, and that is training. Hey, Tanya?
Right, I can totally agree with that.
Oh, training. And so we have people in place. And I heard somebody talk about it, this, and I've experienced it when you would call someplace. And I actually called this particular business asking for a quote, right? And the young man answered the phone. And what should he say? Well, this is my daddy business, and I only really filling in here. You see what I'm saying?
There we go.
So now my first impression, because this is my first, I went on the internet like a good digital person, Africa. I went on the internet and I was searching out online to see who had a web presence, who I could call for this particular product. And that's my first impression. I found a phone number, I called the business, and this is what the young man says to me. Now, only because I was like, okay, I really need this thing, that to the father's credit, he called back. He was very professional and all this sort of thing. But I'm thinking, even if you're going to leave this person here, train them to run the business properly and to be in the business, to represent your business. Even as we're preparing for this expo and we're calling different businesses, people aren't organized. They don't have business cards to present. The presentation isn't there. So we have to really get all this stuff together. And I can't believe that we're out of time.
Training and development should be a line item on your financials. You need to make sure that you set a budget for that, and really we need to retrain, retool. We need to really always emphasize to our people and that our staff members need.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for tuning into the conversation today. We were talking all things entrepreneurship. I want to thank our guests who came in. We have Terry Strapp, financial planner, Africa Allah, new media professional, and Tanya, I'm giving you the wrong name, Tanya Ramming, teacher, trainer, HR, accounting specialist. We're so grateful to have you. And listen, if you want to get more information, come on out to the Women's Entrepreneurship Day Symposium and Expo next Thursday, November 19th, 5:30 p.m. And listen, join us at the Malia at 5:30. We're going to have some awesome speakers like Daphne DeGregory, Miolis, Leah Head Rigby, and Gina Knowles, the people, the force behind Head Knowles, Sharika Brown, Michelle Miller, Melissa Hall, Stania Davis, Kalis Adams. We'll be talking all things entrepreneurship. Listen, get the information you need if you want to change where you are today. Shout out to our sponsors, Marco's Pizza, One Source at BBSL, Easy Car, and Chances Games. I am your host, Simmone Elbow, filling in for the dynamic and wonderful Shanique Miller here on The Conversation. Thanks for tuning in.